So over the weekend, I finally got my tomatoes planted. It's later this year, but it's okay. It's gonna be fine. We're still gonna have lots of tomatoes. I decided on going 4 rows in here instead of 6 with nice big walkways so that I can pull a cart through and harvest and not have to like shimmy through a very crowded greenhouse. And so 360 tomato plants later, and they're going to be shooting up like above my head before we know it. They're going to be touching the ceiling. Maybe. But the real reason I came out here this morning is because when I was walking past in here to milk, because the pasture is behind me, I peeked through my second tunnel and I can see lots of color in there. So let's go see if there's anything we can harvest. So I planted a big mix of ranunculus. The patch that I'm picking from right now is supposed to be pastels. And then I just have bright colors and pacote, which is like the crinkly edged ones that's different colors. But so far the pastel ones are the first to bloom, but it makes sense because the corms were twice as big as the other ones. And the stems so far are twice as tall, so maybe it pays to get the biggest corm. I already knew that, but I just bought what they had available. But look at the stem length on these. For the first blooms, that's pretty dang good. Now, this variety isn't fully double. Normally, ranunculus that you think of has like a full petal center, and these just have kind of a double row of petals. I took some inside the other day, but it's fine. I'll still use them. It's getting ready to get so crazy around here because when you have flowers that are sensitive to heat, you have to be out here picking them every single day. For the longest vase life, you want to pick your ranunculus when it's called in the marshmallow phase. So when these buds are small because they're the first blooms, so they will get bigger, but when you can squish them, and they have the consistency of a marshmallow, it's called the marshmallow stage. Same way you know when to harvest a peony. That's gonna give you the longest vase life. Or in my case, I'm gonna put these in a vase and stick them in the fridge, and they will hold like that until I need bouquets for the weekend, and then I can pop these into bouquets. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm gonna be picking most of these, is instead of just picking them once a week like I do with summer bouquets, I'm going to be picking them every single day whenever they're ready, just because they hold well in a fridge. I have been harvesting anemones that you see behind me for the last couple of weeks. They started before the ranunculus did. And I thought that I didn't like anemones. I thought that I wasn't gonna be a fan of them. And honestly, these are so pretty. Now, I could do without, red's not my favorite. Like, this looks like a pinwheel, which is not really the vibe I'm going for. So you know what I do? I do that. But they are coming in handy because it's a nice, pretty pop. Especially, I like the purple ones and the pink ones and the white ones. Those are my favorite. But I've been coming out here harvesting. They are cranking out the blooms. They've just started, but you can see, like, over the horizon, there's plenty of blooms here. So anemones have this collar underneath, and the length of the stem between the flower and the collar is how you know how old they are. The longer the stem, the older that they are. But even though these feel very fragile to me, because the stem is just kind of thinner and they're just flowy, they're pretty hardy and they last a long time in the vase. So I'm gonna pick some and put them in the fridge and see how they do. Another way that you can tell how old they are, like obviously this one's pretty old because look how long the stem is, but the pollen in the center, see how it's pulled away, it's spreading out and from the center of the flower. I'll show you one that's not very old. Now here's this one. For one, it's not that far away from the collar, and for two, the pollen little buds in the center aren't spread out and fluffy yet. So this one has a much longer vase life than this white one that has seen better days. Oh, another fun fact about anemones is that they close at night and open in the day, and they'll even do it inside of your house, so that's fun. Look at this one, there's two heads. It's a Siamese twin. And they are lightly scented, which is fun because flowers that smell are better than flowers that don't. As you can see, I've got a lot going on. My first spring bouquet subscriptions went out this morning. So I've got a bunch of leftovers, and I have requests for a couple extra bouquets plus all these red anemones. I think I'm gonna make my daughter a red bouquet because she likes red. And then I have these tulips that I tried to put in the fridge, and when I got them out of the fridge, they just completely blew open, which isn't good for selling because the vase life isn't very long, but I can tuck it in these red anemones and it's gonna look beautiful. Whoops. Sometimes I find it hard to be intentional in motherhood because you're just caught up in everything that you have to do in a day, and the children and the questions and the I need this and watch me and blah blah blah, and sometimes it's really overwhelming, but it goes by so fast. One day they're toddling around saying words wrong, and the next they're almost 12 and like turning into a little lady, which is where I'm at with my oldest. And so I want her to have memories of me when I'm not here anymore. And I want her to remember me making her little bouquets and sneaking them on her nightstand while she's asleep so that she can wake up to a cutesy little arrangement of flowers. Also, if you don't know Lily of the Valley, I have never smelled it. I've heard people talk about it, but my mom has a whole patch of these. And I went to her house yesterday. It was actually her birthday. And I scavenged a whole bunch of extras to put in my subscription bouquets. But these smell so good. I could just huff it. So I'm going to stick one in the side of this bouquet. So cute. I'm in the garage now checking on my garage chicks because I've got several different stages of life because I keep filling my incubator because for one, it's like free chickens. And for two, I'm trying to replace all my older layers. So their production goes down after the second year, really. And plus, when I bought these chicks, I got shipped the wrong ones. I wanted a colorful basket, and I didn't really care what breeds. I just wanted like dark brown, light brown, blue, green, a colorful basket. And they shipped me all light brown, ugly eggs, layers, on accident. And so since then, I have gotten my own special layers, which lay colorful and speckles and beautiful. And from them, I am hatching out my own chicks to replace the ones. We're probably not going to, unless I can't sell them, we're not going to process them because they still have lots of life left. They would be great backyard chickens. Lots of people don't want to fuss with starting chicks in that stage. They already want chickens to lay, so I'm sure I can find buyers. But for right now, at least, that just includes the chaos of different stages because I just keep having new chicks. So these are all mixes, but I do keep a olive egg rooster and an Americana rooster with my hens that are special layers. So fingers crossed that they make beautiful eggs together. So these are the last of the ones in the incubator going in. No one told me how stinky incubating eggs is. And I'm not really new to this. I've hatched eggs in the past, but not to this level. And the half-rotten ones in there smell so bad. Like enough that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do my next batch in the garage because it's stinking up my whole house. My whole house smells like a rotten fart. This guy still has he's like a Teenage Mutant Ninja chicken. He's got a chicken and a half shell. Poor guy. Is that stuck to you, honey? I don't want to pull it because I don't want to rip his little feathers off, but we've got to get it off or the others are going to pick on you. They are, because they're mean. So I have a big brooder that you guys have seen lots of times. That is, we got the plans for that out of Joel Salatin's book, like with all the design plans in there. So that's what we use, but it's full of chicks and ducks. I'll show you those in a minute. So I've got this old stock tank that it has a leak in it somewhere because we were using it for water, but now it leaks. And so I just threw some shavings in the bottom with this netting, wire mesh to keep the cats out because they would eat these in a heartbeat, with a heat lamp and some chickies. No, sir. So they're crazy right now because I haven't fed and watered them yet. I made this myself. Not really, but probably a rooster. That's the downside of hatching your own chicks. When you order from a hatchery, you can pick whether you want hens or roosters or unsexed. And when you're hatching, I mean, it could be 50% or more are roosters, right? But it's still fun. I still do it. Plus in here, we've got new for our farm, and they're very crazy. They're not like, you pick up a chicken and they're mostly chill. Ducks are mostly insane when you pick them up. I've got a mix. Most of them are runner ducks, and then I've got a few cayuga because egg colors, duh. But I got mostly runner ducks because I don't want them to fly away from me. I want them to run around like a little duck gang, and I'm gonna put them at our pond, hopefully. You're gonna love me eventually. I'm gonna bring you lots of treats. What I have found, and a lot of people say that they don't like ducks, and I don't get it. Like, yes, they're messier, and yes, they make the waters disgusting, but chickens are so annoying. They get in your garden, they scratch everything up. Chickens are great where you want them, but they're devious little demons, and they get everywhere that you don't want them, and they scratch up all your things, and they peck all your new spring plants that are coming out. And I have 2 ducks, and maybe it's because I only have 2, and they're just like feral. They just wander around. I think they're mallards, actually. Somebody gave them to me that they didn't want. That's how I get animals around here. And They're great. They're lovely. They don't mess with stuff. They just walk around, keep to themselves, eat bugs, dig in the dirt. Well, with their little beak, it's not their feet. But anyway, for me, there's no better place to be on a rainy day than inside the greenhouse. It's almost got that like rain on a tin roof vibe, but it's rain on plastic. But I think I enjoy it because I long for this lush green place all winter, and it's finally here. I just want to say thank goodness for resilient plants, because we're coming into the time of the season where I start to kill things. Things start to just get a little lost. I've got a lot going on in a lot of plants. And you know what? It's like livestock. The old saying, where there's livestock, there's dead stock. Where there's living plants, there's dying plants. I always got a lot going on, okay? Season starts in February and I'm like, what can we do? Let's think of ideas, okay? I can do 100 things at one time in February. We get to it's almost May now. Things are getting a little crazy, okay? Things need planted out, but things need seeded, but things need potted up, but things need put together, but the field needs cleared, you know. All this ranting to say, I accidentally left the ginger that I started in my cold room for months without checking on it. And thank goodness for rhizomes, you know what I mean? Because they're not like a plant like this that literally, if I forgot about this for more than a day, especially in here, if I forgot to open the greenhouse, fried, cooked, done. Ginger, however, I've left accidentally in the greenhouse or in the cold room, and you know what? Most of it's perfectly fine. Which is also another reason why I start way more plants than I need, because I know that some are just gonna get lost. Also, ginger takes forever to start. But look, she's coming to life. I plan on using this house that I'm in. I've talked about it before, but if this is somehow the first video that you're seeing, it gets really, really, really hot in here. I should have angled it a different direction so that it would catch more of our winds, typical winds here, but it doesn't. And so I'm using it as my seed starting house because I've got a lot going on. I mean, it's a full house in here right now. I'm not going to be propagating this many plants in July, let's say. So I can use the beds that are underneath these tables when I need them. And that is where my tropical plants come in, because these things thrive in heat and humidity, you know, because they came from forest, I'm pretty sure, right? Temperate? I don't know if it's a forest, but a temperate region. Anyway, moral of the story is, ginger, thank you for not dying on me. Now, some aren't doing, it's not 100% success, but it's enough, okay? We've got enough. Okay, I was just inspecting my turmeric, and I was thinking, man, it's just not looking good. I don't know. A lot of them are rotten, so whoopsie daisy, but that's kind of my fault for leaving them in there and forgetting about them, you know. That's why I always plant extra, like I said. But I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, I literally, all of these, I see nothing. Absolutely nothing. But look, we got one little overachiever, which I haven't checked them all, just the one tray. But look at that right there. That is a sign of life. I'll take it. Even if I get one plant, I'll turn it into my favorite house plant and I'll take care of it. Just kidding. Look at that. It's working, you guys. Okay, the day's turning around. I am taking the rotten ones and I'm going like this. I don't want them to infect the others, you know.